I'll tell you, the more we got into it, the more waste we saw.
Former Republican Congressman Christopher Shays was co-chair of the commission. It held 25 hearings and made 15 trips to the theaters of war. Shays says the dollar totals lost to waste, fraud, and abuse are staggering.
Well, how much money are we talking about?
Basically, by the end of this year, we will have spent about $205 billion on contractors in Iraq and in Afghanistan. And our conclusion was that at a minimum, $31 billion of waste. But it's more likely that it's closer to $60 billion of waste. And that's an extraordinary figure. I mean, we're basically talking about a third. And you just need to understand how we define waste, though. Waste can be a project that nobody wanted. It can just be a poorly planned project. It can be a poorly executed project. It can be a project that we don't need.
Let's pause for a second. What do all these contractors do?
Well, they do a lot of things. They build things. They feed our troops. They train the Afghans. They train their police. They do a lot of important things. And frankly, this is not a criticism that we use contractors. When the Cold War ended and we reduced our military, we made a conscious decision that we wanted the military to be the tip of the spear. That's what they're trained to do. And then everything behind that tip of the spear, we said, well, some of it, a good chunk of it, could be contractors.
Why was the U.S. government so unprepared to oversee contractors since it was going to be such a large undertaking?
Well, first, I don't think anyone anticipated that we would be spending the kind of dollars we spent and we would be engaged in 2 theaters. So we had one contractor, KBR, that was given the contract for all contracting done by the military in a contingency environment. The view was they would provide all the kinds of services that I just talked about. It was anticipated in the course of maybe 10 years that maybe they might earn $1 billion, and they competed for it. But they ended up getting about $35 billion.
Ladies, one short line.
Shays says one of the reasons contractors can end up getting massive payouts is because the military hires them without much thought from where the money comes. In fact, contractors are paid for on long-term credit.
We fund the contractors in large measure out of emergency supplementals, huge sums of money, but they're not in the DoD budget. So, you know, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they don't guard that part of their budget because we're not taking from them. It's money coming to them. So they're happy to spend it. The bottom line is, if you have an emergency supplemental that doesn't come out of your budget and it just adds to the deficit, that's going to the debt and it's going to be paid for in the next 20 to 30 years.
If you've got it, watch it. If you don't, call your TV provider to get HDNet today.